moto of the season. The board is sideways, the gate is down, and the thundering 500s are underway. Good, clean first start as they make their way now into turn number 2. And we'll see who our leader is after we pick up our downrider. And the leader is Jeff Stanton out of Sherwood, Michigan, with Jeff Ward running at spot number 2. An instant replay of what we've seen all year long in the 250 class. Jeff Stanton aboard the Denny Bentley tuned Honda is your leader. WARDY on the Tom Morgan tuned Kawasaki runs in spot number 2. Both very experienced 500 riders, and Washougal is a great track to show the 500 how it's off. Right now it is Stanton your leader, WARDY in spot number 2. Stanton is hot off the 250 National Championship win. Jeff Ward didn't win it. The only one he can salvage now is a 500 win. WARDY now creeps up alongside of Stanton and goes into the lead. Jeff Ward is your leader here at Washougal. Stanton runs in spot number 2. Stanton still showing him a wheel and not giving him very much. WARDY out in front, but not by enough to relax. Stanton on bike number 2 is still in spot number 2. WARDY your leader, flying the big number 1. 500cc motorcycle, the thunder of motocross. Right now at Washougal, Stanton trying to rain on WARDY's parade. Lappers now starting to get in the way of Jeff Ward. That could be an advantage to Jeff Stanton. If one of them slows him down, Stanton's going to sneak by and get in the lead. WARDY still maintains that lead and gets through some lappers very clean. Here comes Stanton on the Honda on the outside. Stanton pulls up right alongside of Ward. Stanton now has the advantage going down the backside of the tabletop. It is Stanton who's got the lead. WARDY now runs in spot number 2. The lappers playing a big part in this one. Stanton your leader, WARDY in spot number 2. Boy, Jeff Ward made one mistake behind the lapper, and it gave the lead to Jeff Stanton. Both Stanton and WARDY pulling way away from third place as Stanton cruises in to get the first moto victory of the season in the 500. Stanton took the win. WARDY in spot number 2 with Johnny O'Mara in spot number 3 aboard a Kawasaki line point. And I'll tell you what, he's got a tough road to hoe. Stanton takes the win on the Honda to put him with 47 points to the tie with Jeff Ward on the Kawasaki. 500cc action coming at you right now. The big bikes will get through the mud a little bit easier than the 125. We have another good start as Jeff Ward takes the whole shot on the Kawasaki Mark number 1. Slamming going on as they come down to the base of the hill. Rick Johnson running in spot number 2. It looks like Stanton is running in spot number 3. Now Stanton looks to be in spot number 2. But it is Jeff Ward who is out in front. Jeff Stanton runs in spot number 2. And 7-time AMA National Champ Rick Johnson runs in spot number 3. There's a good shot of Stanton. Johnson now falling off the page as Jeff kicked him sideways. Watch the replay. Stanton goes on to inherit the win. WARDY finishes in spot number 2, and the standings are Stanton, Ward, Johnson, O'Mara, and Bowen after 2 events.
It's a good race. It's definitely a two-man race, and you know it's going to be down to the last moto of the year, depending unless somebody has a problem.
Well, just to go out and do the best I can each race. That's all I can ask for. Jeff's going to be tough all the way through. We keep splitting motos, and I'm not getting that many points on him, so just need to go out and win each moto.
At this point, I'm not that far out of the game. If I can beat Stanton, I'm going to. I'm not going to move over and let him by. I'm going to give it everything I have. So at this point, it's each man for himself.
And the gate goes down for start of 500cc moto, and it is Jeff Ward who gets a great start, then gets boxed out by none other than Ricky Johnson. So here comes the battle. WARDY now cleanly gets through with O'Mara on his heels. But Rick Johnson is now in spot number 2 on the Honda. 3 position changes in the first 150 yards of the race. Binghamton, New York. A very, very physically demanding racetrack. There's a lot of man-made obstacles as well as some great natural terrain motocross. Jeff Ward is out in front. Rick Johnson is in spot number 2, and Jeff Stanton is in spot number 3. It's again the 3 musketeers of the 500 class, and Jeff Ward leads the back. Johnson now goes to the inside, and RJ's got a handle on WARDY, and it looks like he may go to the lead. WARDY now retakes Johnson as they go up the hill. Boy, Johnson showed Wardy the front wheel and stayed hard on the throttle, but Jeff Ward continues to lead now here at Binghamton. Stanton and Johnson are about in a great fight for spot number 2. Here's Johnson in the second spot. Stanton runs in spot number 3. Stanton now goes by Rick Johnson as Johnson looks down at his bike like something may be wrong. Nothing wrong with Stanton as he starts to reel in the Kawasaki rider. Jeff Ward is your leader on bike number 1. Jeff Stanton on bike number 2 is in spot number 2. Rick Johnson on bike number 13 is in the 3rd spot. Jeff Ward, one of the smaller riders on the circuit, the most physically fit, many would say. And I'll tell you what, right now, he got fit right out of the lead as Stanton dove right in on the inside of him. Wardy, like we said, one of the shorter riders on the circuit, has always been good on a 500. Today, he's going to have to be real good as he bumps Stanton right off of the racetrack. Wardy went right to the inside of Stanton and just slammed him out of spot number 1. Jeff Ward is the leader. Let's watch this again. Here comes Wardy on the inside of Stanton. Now look at Stanton. He looks over his shoulder, and here comes Wardy on the throttle. See you later, Stanton. Wardy is your new leader. So Jeff Ward roughhousing a little bit with Jeff Stanton. It was a clean pass. Now the same thing happens to Ward as he goes down in a very high rut, and that's going to put Jeff Stanton back on. Touche for Jeff Stanton. Watch this again. Wardy slows down, hits the rear end of another rider, and goes right over the top of the berm. Wardy luckily remounts the motorcycle and still is in spot number 2. But here comes Stanton to regain the lead. Jeff Stanton now cruising the Honda out in front and looking for a checkered flag. And here it comes. Jeff Stanton will take the win on the Honda. Point for Honda's Mike LAROCCO. Stanton on top in the 500 division with 100. That's 125 guys. Here's the 500.
Looking to go out and win both of these motos. Haven't won both motos all year. Just been splitting, and he wins the first one, I win the second one. So it hadn't been fun. I've been keeping the points lead, but haven't been spreading those points out. So need to go out and win both motos and get some points in between us.
I hope I need to beat them, or if we split motos, I'd like to be on the winning end of the splitting motos, but just to stay close. And I feel good. I won both motors here last year, and I think it's going to dry out a little bit more when today goes on. And I'd like to come away with the points lead, try to keep on to it, hang on to it.
The 500 second moto on the line. You saw Johnson, you saw Stanton, you see Jeff Ward. Say they want the track to dry out a little bit. Right now it is still tacky, and Rick Johnson gets the whole shot. Bike number 13 on the JT Honda, Ricky Johnson is your early race leader. Stanton is close in tow, and now Stanton takes the lead over Johnny O'Mara and Ricky Johnson. As they make their way up the hill, it is still Stanton who's your leader. Johnson and O'Mara close in tow. Wardy now running in spot number 4. So Jeff Stanton, who says he's been on the winning end of the stick, now tries to put 2 together to beat Wardy in a Grand Slam win. But Ward right now is running in spot number 4, and all he has to do is get by Johnson and O'Mara, and the battle will start all over again. Stanton still your leader. Stanton really getting accustomed to the 500s. Of course, Rick Johnson, a great 500 rider. Johnny O'Mara, first year on the 500s and doing a good job. And here comes Wardy, the longtime veteran of the 500 class. But Stanton right now is on top. It is Honda's 1 and 2, Kawasaki's 3 and 4. The track, as you can see, is very, very rutted, and it is still slick. You've got to be careful of how hard they hit the brakes and how hard they get on the power. And going up the hill here is a total 500 terrain. Mud, whoop-de-doos, and a lot of horsepower. Wardy now moves into spot number 3, and he's going after Johnson. Stanton's still the leader. Rick Johnson running in spot number 2, but here comes Ward. Ward gets him clean on the outside. Wardy outpowered Johnson all the way up the hill. Shook up. Well, Wardy now is out in front with Johnson in spot number 2. Let's watch it again. Stanton loosens the front wheel and slams himself into the turf. Right behind him comes Jeff Ward and Rick Johnson. Wardy and Tom Morgan sent us all back to the deck out in front. Top draw for Jeff Ward. He waited for a mistake. He got Wardy and Stanton been slipping motos all season long in the 500 class. Right now, Wardy's got a new rider behind him, Rick Johnson. victory. Now, off the top, heading back into the pit. Jeff Ward is going to take the pin. Johnson, spot number 2. John Rivera, spot number 3. Wardy's still on top. Here's Jeff Stanton being carried out. We're going to find out what happened to Jeff from the other riders.
Yeah, we were talking about it. When you jump the big double going up the hill, there's right after the second jump, there's a hole with a rock ledge, and I was asking if he was jumping it and clearing it and landing there, and if he ever hit his front wheel, and he's saying yeah. So that's why Ward and I were jumping to the outside, because if he over jumped a little bit, there wouldn't be a problem. But he over jumped the inside, hit his wheel, and it just spun him in a donut, and he rung his bell pretty hard.
Well, you know, it feels good. I hate to see somebody get hurt, you know, miss a race, because I think I'm riding, you know, the best I've been riding all year right now, and you know, but I'm sure he's going to hang tough the whole. You know, I had the same lead going into last year at the last race, and I was just as nervous as I've ever been. So, but there was a lot riding last year, you know. But I feel good. I feel confident that's not over until it's over. So, you know, I'm assuming he didn't break any bones here. It just looks like it is bruised. But if there's no broken bones and his head clears up, I'm pretty sure you'll see him in Maryland.
We're still shooting for the third. You know, it's not out of existence. You know, things have happened in the last races. Then people have won championships, so we're still going for it, you know.
At the start of the 500cc National, and it's going to put Jeff Stanton out in front, only to be in the dirt. Meanwhile, WARDY cruises for the checkered flag and the moto win. Stanton cruises in for spot number 2. Johnson will finish in the third spot. Donnie O'Mara in spot number 4. Privateer Newmack in spot number 5. Here's the start of moto number 2. And again, it's the Hondas out in front of Jeff Stanton and teammate Ricky Johnson with WARDY in tow. The battle all season long has been between these two riders, Honda's Jeff Stanton and Kawasaki's Jeff Ward. WARDY winning the first moto is really going to have to get it together and pass Stanton now to make it a Grand Slam to ensure the series championship. With one round to go, points now are really a high commodity. It is Stanton still out in front, and here comes WARDY challenging for the lead. Stanton goes to the outside, but it's going to be too little too late. As WARDY attacks Johnson, he'll finish in spot number 2. Johnson will finish in the third spot, and of course, Jeff Stanton will take the win. And now with one round remaining, let's talk to the current 125 and 500 national champions, Mike Kudrowski and Jeff Stanton.
Jeff Ward was up there. We was racing pretty good, and he tried to pass me on an outside line, and you know, I wasn't going to let him pass me on an outside line, so I just basically, you know, pushed him out. You know, nothing real aggressive or anything. It was in a slow corner, and he stalled his bike and went back to fourth, and from then on, it was just kind of be out front, ride smooth and consistent, and not push it too hard.
What happens, happens. If I win the race, great. You know, if I win the championship, great. You know, if I win 5 out of the 6 races this year in the 500 Nationals, you know, I'll feel happy. But, you know, I'd like to go out and win the championship too. But if it doesn't happen, great. I mean, if it does happen, great. If it doesn't, you know, that's unfortunate.
I feel pretty good. Not too bad, pretty loose, and just going to go out there and have fun, I guess.
I don't think he's here to win the race. He's here to win the championship. So Stan and I maybe will be out there banging bars.
Now the gate run to the 500cc moto. Who's it going to be? It is Rick Johnson and Jeff Ward who come out on top. Now Gene Newmack buries his way in there along with O'Mara. WARDY drops back to the inside by a whole bunch. Newmack got out in front with O'Mara and Ward, and then WARDY suddenly went to the back. 500 ran the roost as Rick Johnson is out in front. Ricky, who has not had a typical Rick Johnson season, is leading here in Unadilla. Stanton, Newmack, and Jeff Ward are all tangled up. Here comes Stanton, and here comes your leader, Rick Johnson. Stanton trying to pass Johnson, but Johnson holding on. The power of the Brian Lennox-Stewart Honda in the lead. Here comes Stanton now, chasing after Johnson. He's still trying to dispatch the former 500 national champ. Stanton has not won the 500 yet, and would like to do so here in Unadilla. But Rick Johnson is still on top. Jeff Stanton running in spot number 2. right now. And Stanton trying to get by Johnson and cleanly away from Jeff Ward. But Ricky Johnson continues to lead.
Stanton goes to the end zone.
Stanton now playing follow the leader with Rick Johnson, and Stanton stalls the 500. And now Wardy starting to gain on Jeff Stanton, but Rick Johnson is still out in front and now a long ways away. Johnson now feeling some heat again as Stanton rebounds, gets the bike started, and gets on the gas, trying to catch the former champ. He goes down one more time. A tough day for Jeff Stanton here at Unadilla. Rick Johnson, in an unfamiliar lead position, will take the checkered flag. So Rick is having a typical Rick Johnson day in an untypical Rick Johnson season. So Johnson takes the win. Stanton finishes in spot number 2, and by virtue of his third place finish, Jeff Ward is our new 500cc national champion. Let's take a moment now and talk to the season's toughest competitor.
Jeff Ward got the championship, but I won the battle, and so I went out of this year of 1990 on top. So never know.
Well, congratulations again. We hope to see you next year.
Thank you. I've got some death threats if I quit racing, so I might have to come back and race another year.
Yeah, I was happy. You know, I've worked hard. We all work hard, and you know, this is the second year in a row. It was a tough race this whole season. Stanton rode strong the whole time. We had our bike working good. Looks like they got their bike working really good this year, and it was close. It's unfortunate, you know, Stanton went down a couple weeks ago, and it gave me a little points cushion, and that made me more nervous than not having a cushion, because you go out there protecting instead of racing. But this track today was very tough, and it was difficult just staying on the motorcycle. You know, it's important to win, and it's how you deal with it. And I've won 7 championships, so I must be doing something right somewhere down the line. And it's always nice to win, and you know, hopefully next year I can come back as strong as I have this year. And Supercross is real important, so I'm not giving up. I got a contract next year with Kawasaki, and then from there on we'll see what happens.
A play to commemorate that one.
Round out the top 5. In the 500 class, Jeff Ward's the national champion, with Stanton, O'Mara, Johnson, and Bowen in the top 5 positions. I hope you enjoyed this incredible compilation of the 1990 outdoor motocross season. It's sure been